Roll call.
Robert Smith.
Here.
Maria Zapaznik. Here. Lori Cepeda. Here. Noah Karsten.
Here.
Thomas Lima.
Here.
Brittany Frizoka. Here. Leandro Alvarez.
Here.
Gilbert Carreras.
Here.
Shane Crellin.
Here.
Megan Fist. Here. Connor Gerlash.
Here.
Nicori Zaridia. Here. Patrick Hurd.
Here.
Joshua Locke.
Present.
Linda Lynn. Here. Logan Roush.
Here.
Jose Rosario.
Here.
Ken Salhini.
Here.
Derek Trombley. Jason Windrow.
Here.
Scott Kane.
Here.
Michelle Brophy Behrman. Here. Mark Paolucci.
Here.
Robert Santeri.
Here. Okay, if you could rise and
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alright, I'm now seeking a motion for the approval of the agenda. Motion by Representative Locke, second by Representative Rosario. Discussion? Any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor of approving the agenda as is, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? And the agenda is approved. We now move to item 3, approval of minutes of September 30th, 2015. I'd like to entertain a motion. Motion by Representative Locke, second by Representative Hurd. Any discussion on the minutes of September 30th, 2015? Hearing no discussion, we now move to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? And the minutes are approved. We now move to item 4, speakers. The State of the Student Body Address. President Robert Smith.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks, lectern.
Go for it.
Lectern. We do this every time. It's going to look better than if we just stand and talk. Then it's going to look okay. Tom, can you move?
Of course.
Need a hand there? No, I got it. It's going to look better than that. Yeah. Tom can take a break. This is work. This is not a lectern. I was lied to. Yes, it is. Tom, can you have my piece of paper? I used the brown one we always had. It was nice. Hi, everybody. Before I start, the first Parliament meeting in October, the President is required to give a State of the Student Body address. It's supposed to be our State of the Union version. It's the best we're going to do. I talk during most of the meetings, so before I start, I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because I always talk anyway. Can I have a pen, Tom? Members of Parliament, fellow Executive Board members, employees of the college, I'm here to report that the state of the student body is strong. Oh, I did not write the right word there. In the past year, we've had a lot of changes here on campus. We've had a lot of new clubs this year, which is great. We're talking about at least 2 newer started clubs today. We approved the constitutions of 3 new clubs, I think, last meeting. Finance has approved at least a couple operating budgets for good clubs. We've only 2 clubs lost funding for not following our procedures and deadlines from this academic year, which is fantastic. Treasurer Carstens done a good job. I know last year we lost like 6, this year was only 2, and that's fantastic. There are buildings being renovated on campus. Gage is slowly getting work done. Donovan's Dining Center is trying new things as much as it seems like it's not. Arthur is trying his best. The food used to be a lot worse for those of you who can remember. And the most important part is the students are having more events, they're making more organizations, they're having more clubs to bring students together and network and give back to the community. I'm going to tell you about an anecdote when I was in high school many moons ago. When I first told people that I was going to Rick, it's always one level above CCRI, which I always thought was weird. They always talk about Rick as a joke, that Rick grads wouldn't need to go on to do anything. And I found that in my time here, that's turned out to be a huge lie, not all snobs. We have many illustrious graduates who go on to do things. Robert Santeri Jr., one of the student government presidents, is a graduate. Mike Multicavo, who works in PRI, was a Rhode Island College graduate. Viola Davis won an Emmy. And we do a lot of great things here at the college. My years here have entirely proved them wrong. Our students here are some of the best in Rhode Island. We give back to the community, we work hard in our classes, we graduate, which is an important thing. But one of the things one of the problems here on campus, and this is a problem every year, and if you go back in the Exodus yearbooks maybe 40 years ago, it's always a problem. Student apathy is always a problem. We're all Rick students here, and some of the employees here, like Mark, went to Rick many years ago, and the complaints about it are always the same. But one of the biggest problems we always have, and we're not always full of this thing, is student apathy. We all like to complain about Rick, but none of us really like to do anything about it. But some of the best changes we can do as a student body always comes from the students. And especially from this body. A couple of years ago, we had a resolution to get bacon in Donovan Dining Center. And then there was bacon in Donovan Dining Center. But we do more serious stuff like that. We often advocate for student rights and responsibilities on campus. We do more than just things like Boston or the Yulee concert. I believe 3 years ago, we advocated for an LGBTQ coordinator for the college. And I've gone off topic again, great. But the most important thing is that positive change comes from us. Everyone in this room is here for a reason. We're not here to collect the stipend. We're here to advocate for student issues, and everyone here has a pet issue that they care about. Representative Krellin cares about green initiatives. He wants green recycle bins on the quad. Representative Rosario and Representative Lynn want to do sexual assault workshops by students. There is something, you are all here for a reason. You all want to change something on this campus for a reason. Nothing is perfect. Rhode Island isn't perfect, Rowan College isn't perfect. And lately this body has been remarkably quiet, and it's not because I do all the talking. What I wanted to use this speech in the few minutes I am pontificating you today is to encourage everyone here to find the special issue. To find the, soapbox that they can get on, and make a positive change in the campus. I'm going to say this a couple times again today. We have college committees with student seats. Some of you hate parking, some of you hate the food. We have college committees where student voice can be heard. The most positive change at this college always comes from the students. A couple of times a week, a student will find out I'm student body president, or they'll just think I'm another student, which is true, and they'll come to me with a complaint. And I'll always do my best to either bring it up with administration, bring it up with staff, or direct them to the right office or to the right person to talk about it. Sometimes it's academic advising, sometimes an issue with another club. We're here in Parliament to do a very special thing. We're in a very special place. We're student leaders. We can direct and guide students as they have these problems, as they have these issues. We can direct them and help them and advocate for their issues. I almost like to remind everyone every meeting that it says on our flag, which isn't waving right now, but it says a voice of the student body since 1974. I've said this before this year, we're one of the most organized student voices on campus. And I would like to see us using that more often. You guys have a Student Bill of Rights. It's in the student handbook. It starts on page 20. And my favorite article is Article 4, where it says students have a voice in how this campus is governed, which basically means we're allowed student representation on committees, and we're allowed to have our own voice. It basically codifies what student community government does. So my entire point today here, guys, is not to pontificate, but to encourage you all to find the special thing, your special complaint, or the positive thing you like about Rick, and be the change you want to be. And that's all I got. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. We now move on to item number 5, open forum. Is there anyone here for open forum? Is there anyone here for open forum? Is there anyone here for open forum? Hearing no one here for open forum, I now declare open forum closed. Move now to item 6A, officers announcements. President Robert Smith.
Oh, hi. My name is Ross Smith. I'm student body president. So, I'm speaking again. I only have a couple of announcements. I'd like to encourage everyone to join a college committee, even though I just said that. We have several fresh new faces, which is always exciting to see. I'd like to welcome you all to student community governance meetings that we have about twice a month. I'd also like to remind everyone that if you haven't joined a college committee, you're required to join a student community government committee, as well as a college committee. And I know who you are who hasn't joined such a committee. I'm speaking a couple more times in today's agenda. We had Group Boston a couple weeks ago. I'll be talking after the Group Boston report. The only other announcement I have is I vetoed one of the Finance Commission's decisions regarding ASA. They asked for T-shirts, and I deemed it was too soon before the event they wanted T-shirts for, and I vetoed it. But the rest of the request went through. And that concludes my announcements.
Thank you, Mr. President. Vice President Maria Smith.
Hello, everybody.
believe me. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Spaznik. We'll now move to item C, Secretary Lori Cepeda.
Alright, hi everyone. So I only have 2 announcements. The first one is that our next roundtable is November 18th. During free period, it'll be right in the ballroom, so make sure your club secretaries of your product clubs are there representing your club. And second, the holiday party invitations are going out this week, so look forward to those. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Now move on to Treasurer's announcements. Mr. Noakowski.
Hello everyone, it's nice to see some new faces here tonight, so hello and welcome to Student Parliament. For a little update for you guys, as President Smith sort of touched upon, we have deadlines that all student organizations need to meet in order to remain a funded club. They have to turn into us an officers list, an advisor agreement, and have a president-treasurer's meeting with me. So we had a very successful year, and there was only 2 clubs that did not make it through. They were the Debate Council and the Public Relations Student Society of America, so both of them were, their funding was reverted back to the general fund. This does not mean that there's no hope for them. They can always come back for another officer or another operating budget and then go through the necessary processes again. They just have a cap, but I'd like to make you all aware of that. Monthly budget reports went out last week, so in your student union mailboxes, if you're the member of a student organization, you can go and get a quick report for your budget so you can see your expenditures so far. I'm always looking for new finance commission members. I have spots on my committee if you're interested in joining. If you like money and telling people how they can spend their money, then you can come see me about that. I encourage everyone to take a water bottle that's in that big cardboard box over there because we have a lot of extras and they're free and there's no catch. And then also you'll be hearing from me shortly because I'm working on revising the cabinet and capital improvement policies. So that'll be coming up soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Now move on to my announcements. Really briefly, I know there is a few new members that still need to do orientation. You can either make time after this meeting or make time to do so. Perhaps next week, just be in contact with our office assistant. I do have one leave for tonight. It's from Representative Derek Trombley. Dear Speaker Lima, I will be unable to make the meeting due to my participation in Greek 101. I apologize and hope to see you all next meeting. Sincerely, Derek Trombley. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Representative Locke, second by Representative Fisk. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of approving the leave, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? And the leave is approved. And that concludes my announcements. And now is Deputy Speaker Brittany Pizzolo.
Hi everybody, I hope everybody's midterms went well. It was a rough week for most of us, I'm assuming. I only have one more seat on my committee and it's a non-parliament, so if you guys have any friends that want to join, please send them my way. And I don't have my minutes in yet, but we decided on where we're trying to contact to get our suggestion boxes. Right now we have the student union's approval. I'm waiting to hear back from the library, Oasis, and a couple other places on campus. And I think his name's Jose. He's an art major and he's trying to make this amazing, like, catchy thing to put on so people will actually use them. Because they're our way of voicing our opinions about campus to make it better. And I hope everybody has a safe Halloween.
All right, thank you. Now move to item 7, Constitutions and Organization Conference Reports. Item A, Constitutions. Number 1, Hip Hop Dance Organization. New Secretary Cepeda.
So we have Alex here from the Hip Hop Dance Organization. He's looking to start up on campus, and you can get up and just tell us a bit about the club and what you want to do on campus.
Hello everybody, my name is Alexander Crespo Rosario, or just Alex is fine. And the reason for the hip hop dance organization that I'm trying to start on campus is so that dancers who like to do hip hop, because I know there's other dance clubs on campus like ballroom and then there's also Zumba, but not everyone does ballroom or Zumba or like ballet. Like I've noticed some of my friends and other students that I've met like to dance hip hop, and we don't have a hip hop club on campus, so I would like to start one so that all the hip hop heads can gather up together, make routines together, and just perform in like on practice and like set up dates to like just perform for other students who like just want to enjoy the art of dance and things. Just have fun.
thank you. Before we open up the floor for discussion, is there a motion to approve the Constitution? A motion by Secretary Zepito, second by Vice President Pasnick. All right, discussion. Representative Center.
Thank you, Speaker Lima. Just a quick thing before I make a friendly amendment. I just noticed in 8.1.8, I'll show you up here. You guys you don't say active member, you say member who can run for any less than a year. I would just make sense it doesn't now change to active member. That way people can actually roll the club.
Yeah.
Under the office.
Where is that?
It's 8.1. It's 8.1.1 eligibility, which it currently reads like any full undergraduate or now college student who is a member of the organization may run for office. I just want to add active before member. So that's a
friendly amendment.
Friendly amendment.
Is there any objection to that amendment? As friendly? Hearing no objection, the amendment is approved as friendly. Any further discussion on the Constitution? Treasurer Carlson?
I just have a question about your club.
Yes.
Are you guys planning on like doing performances here at school? Or are you gonna go to like competitions or like come requesting funding, anything like that?
Yeah, me and my other friends thought about it, and it would be better to start off at just doing performances for the school rather than just jump into competitions, because we don't know how good we're gonna be yet. So it'll be better to just get experience first, perform for the school, then maybe in the future, depending on how many people we get and like the talent that we have, we could do competitions with bigger things and stuff.
Deputy Speaker Pizarro?
Can you explain what hip hop dance is?
Hip hop? Well, there's ballet, like spinning on your toes and stuff. Hip hop is more like spinning on your head,
Okay.
like doing crazy tricks. But there's more of breakdancing, but there's also hip hop. So hip hop is breakdancing and like hip hop choreography to like raps,
So
like
it's a mix of the
yeah,
two.
to like
Okay.
operate like like waves and stuff,
Mhm.
like robots.
Okay.
Just yeah, it's different than ballet. It's like more. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's different.
All right, any further discussion on the Constitution? Representative Reserve?
In terms of safety and liability, have you considered what you're going to do to ensure that your members are safe during your practices and performances?
Yeah, like if someone is new to the dance, they're not gonna just start off and do head spins, because that would be like the wrong thing to do. Like I was gonna like I'm gonna teach them like the basics first, like top rocks, like a 6-step, which is 6 steps on the floor with like your hands and stuff. But it's all safe. Like I'm not gonna be like, all right, so go try a head spin. You know, it's gonna take time, of course. Like balance on your hands, try to walk on your hands, do push-ups to build up strength, and then eventually, if you really want to learn head spins, then you'll get to that point through the classes.
Thank you. Any further discussion on the Constitution? Hearing no discussion, we now move to a vote. All those in favor of approving the Constitution as amended, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? And the Constitution is approved. Congratulations, Mr. John Clark.
Thank you.
We now move to Constitution number 2, students of complicated philosophy. We're starting organization Secretary Zepito.
Alright, so we have Charlie here from Students of Amalgamated Philosophy. There aren't any dramatic changes to the Constitution, and he's just here to tell us a bit about what the club is about.
Alright, my name is Charles Bradshaw, president of SOAP. The purpose of SOAP is to facilitate philosophical discussion outside of the classroom. What is philosophical discussion? Philosophical discussion is centered around an argument. Argument not in terms of picking fun or confrontation, but argument is a unit of reason that consists of premises from which you deduce a conclusion. Every single hard science is reliant upon this structure, so it's open to all students. That's the beauty of it. We'll have meetings weekly and hopefully put on events similar to what Brown does. We will try to shadow the speakers, the issues that they address, because I think they are very, very important. I don't see anything like that going on here at this school. I don't hear it in the classrooms, and I don't hear it in the hallways. And so that's why I think it's important, and that's what the purpose is.
Thank Thank you. Before we move on to discussion, is there a motion to approve the Constitution? Motion by Deputy Speaker Rizzuto, second by, oh, Mustafa. New context. The second was by, all right, discussion. Vice President.
I don't really know much about Brown events. What kind of events do they put on that you were thinking of mimicking or trying to do similar to this?
Okay, so, today, 2015, we are witnessing a receding of the progress made with the civil rights movement. So a lot of Brown's events center around three main topics: gender issues, racial issues, and income inequality. All three of those issues are pertinent problems here in Rhode Island. They're also pertinent problems for the students that graduate from institutions like this, who enter into a high unemployment rate city or state like Rhode Island, or if they move out of the country. Those are the type of issues we want to address.
Does that conclude your question?
Not really, just, but alright. It
How
does,
does
because
that
I.
work with Brown? We go to Brown, they have featured events on the website. Then each department at Brown puts on specific events that aren't always listed in their featured
Okay.
events. So each department has specific events. You go to the economics department, they have a specific event on income inequality. They
Okay.
have a specific event on unemployment rates. Same thing with racial issues, discussions about Ferguson, Missouri, the riots in Baltimore compared to Occupy Wall Street, police brutality, and the same thing with gender studies and women's studies, LGBT
Yeah.
problems, gay and lesbian issues, hate crimes, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Those are very pertinent issues.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Santer.
Thank you, Speaker Lima. Just the same thing as the last case. I just wanna, for 4.2.1, right now, anyone for voting for like anything, any issue you guys had, just would like to change from being active members as opposed to regular members. That way people show up to actually vote instead of active. Motion. Alright, thank you. I'd just like to make a friendly amendment to change 4.2.1 voting rights. Currently it reads, voting on all matters pertaining to the organization, including financial and electoral matters, shall be limited to Rhode Island College student activity fee paying members, as when active for members may consist of other constitutions.
Are there any objections to the representative's friendly amendment? Hearing no objections, the amendment is accepted as friendly. Further discussion?
Will you be holding events like Socrates Cafes where it's just open to student-wide, we discuss any issue like say political correctness or just wide topics besides just those three that you mentioned before?
I'm not familiar with the
So Socrates Cafe is a philosophical discussion based on one question. So I went to one at Roger Williams a couple weeks ago about political correctness, and people explained their views on it, and they didn't exactly like all come to a conclusion and agree, but they talked about political correctness, and they have a bunch of philosophical events like that throughout their semester there that one of their philosophy clubs throws on.
I'm not really familiar with something like that. I'd have to look into it and how it functions. My only concern with an event like that is it might be.
You would have a moderator. So you
Yeah.
have say you have a topic, and then you'd find a professor that would moderate it because they're knowledgeable about that topic.
Yeah.
And then you'd have student discussion to try to get their views out there. And
Was there a particular discussion that resonated with you that you could
I went
share
to
as an
political
example?
correctness, and I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I didn't speak,
Yeah.
but I watched everyone else speak, and it was amazing to hear people's views on it.
Any particular?
I can only give you my boyfriend's, and I'd rather not.
Oh, why not?
Very wide views.
Oh, okay. That would be something I'd have to look into and maybe see if that would be in line with what we were talking about. Because a lot of times I feel that political correctness can kind of deteriorate into identity politics, where people are saying things that may be true to them, but underhandedly insult a large group of people.
That's just an example.
Yeah, yeah.
Andrew, discussion. Any other discussion pertaining to the organization's constitution? Hearing no, okay.
Were you, I missed, when you were explaining things, you were talking about a lot of civil rights issues. Are you, will your focus be on civil rights matters, or is it broader than that?
it is broader than that, but given the state of the times we're in, I think I'd like to focus on that. If other things do come up, it's not that we would disregard those issues. But I think every ship needs a direction, and that's the direction that I'd like to head this ship in.
So the reason I was asking that question is because if you're focusing on civil rights issues, I'm wondering if you have connected with the Unity Center on campus.
Mm.
You know, it's part of their responsibility, they address those issues as well.
Mm.
Have you know where that is?
I do. I think there's a difference. There's a difference between theory and practice. And what the Philosophy Club will offer is more theory than actual practice. What the Unity Center does, I understand, is put theory into practice.
No, I think
Is that-
education is what.
Right, but they have a set of principles. They have a set of positions that they advocate for practically amongst the student body. We're just the best way I could say it, philosophy is a modest art in that it says, are you asking the right questions? So even the question you ask can mystify the problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I don't think that that's necessarily different than the Unity Center.
Why is that? So do you agree with the difference between theory and practice?
I don't know that I'm not sure that I understand what the difference would be as it pertains to your club.
So the difference with the club would be, for example, if Brown puts on an event in terms of income inequality, they're presenting a theory as to how they perceive income inequality in a specific area. Not everything in that theory is practically applicable to the situation, because each situation has a set of particulars that may or may not coincide with that theory. So that's the difference. Not everything presented is going to be practically applicable, whereas the Unity Center will offer a set of positions that they know, or that they agree to, or that they know they can work from, that they can present to the student body as something that they can be practically applied. There's not a lot of questioning there on what the Unity Center does. Does that answer the question?
Well, again, I'm just sort of thinking about, you started your discussion by indicating that that this country has, we've seen a lot of backstepping with respect to civil rights.
Okay, yeah.
in recently.
Yeah.
And I sort of say, that's a theory that you have.
Right.
But it, and it's not, you're sort of doing the same thing. It's kind of
Right.
like, I might agree that there have been some backstepping on some civil rights issues, but I do think that there might be also some progress in some other civil rights issues. It's not all backsliding.
Oh, well, sure. I'm not saying
All
all of it is.
All I'm
but-
saying is you had indicated that perhaps you would approach it differently from Unity Center, because Unity Center is going to put some of these these theories into practice.
Yeah.
But didn't you just do the same thing with respect to the civil rights issue? You posed a position that
Yep.
we're doing backsliding.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's a theory. That's a
I-
theory. I don't know if I'm gonna go around and practically go and tell every single student I see that my theory that we are regressing in terms of civil rights is true, and that they should take the trueness of my theory and apply it to their everyday life and say that, okay, on every single civil rights issues, because Charles Bradshaw says so, I should approach these issues as receding. No, my position is that I think that these issues are receding. And the reason why I think so is because there's a massive amount of energy and effort being put in at institutions like Brown to address these issues, or to ask different sets of questions. Now, the reason why I think it's important is if you look at unemployment rates, income inequality, especially in Providence, Rhode Island, or even the problem of human trafficking recently, where you had a set of tenement houses in Olneyville that had Mexican women turning tricks, this is what they put in the paper, turning tricks for $30. They've been doing this for years. Went under the radar. It's absolutely disgusting and abhorrent. How does that, to not address that in any ethics class that I've been in, any history class, I think is absolutely insane. This is an institution of education. We're not being educated on issues that are pertinent to this generation.
That's so that's exactly why I sort of suggest,
Yeah.
perhaps, I don't know, working together, but
Yeah.
at least, communicating with the Unity Center might be, because they're
Oh,
an
sure.
arm, they're an arm of education, and they could perhaps address some of these issues that you're raising, so I just throw that out there, if you
Yeah, yeah.
consider, going forward, looks like you're gonna be approved tonight, so, it would be, I think, a good way to go.
Oh, absolutely. Hopefully they go to the event and take something away from them, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. K. Representative Rosero?
So similar to, I think, some of the concerns of other student parliament members, I'm just wondering, is your mission, I think it's still a little unclear, is your mission advocacy or providing a safe space where people can kind of discuss their ideas and their opinions? I feel like they're two very different missions, so I kind of want to see what you're thinking and what your thought process was.
So the mission is to present a philosophical argument. Again, if you go back to my example of the Brown featured events, you go on the featured events page and you look at the topics that I've highlighted, and what they present are philosophical arguments in the form of theories. They have premises, which they hold to be true. They hold to be true income inequality. From there, they develop a theory about the income inequality, and they present that information. They present it in the form of the argument. An argument is something you can either take to be valid or not valid, and you can apply it to. We want to present philosophical arguments to address certain specific issues, right? And then it's the whole, I don't know if it's up to you whether or not that's the whole beauty of philosophy. You don't have to necessarily agree with it, but you can listen and hopefully take something away that resonates with you in terms of those issues. Is it a source of advocacy? I don't know, maybe. But it's really more of a presentation of philosophical argumentation on pertinent issues. Maybe, hopefully, somebody can advocate positions from there. If it's constructive, hopefully it's a constructive exercise. Yeah, but not necessarily focused on advocating for. I think that'd be something Unity Center does, or other groups probably do here. Yeah, absolutely.
Does that include your questioning? Is there any other further discussion pertaining to the Constitution? All right, hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of approving the Constitution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? And the Constitution is approved as amendment. Congratulations. Okay, we now move on to Constitution number 3, Italian Language and Culture Club. Secretary Sapita.
I'd like to make a motion to table the Italian Language and Culture Club revised constitution to our next hearing.
Motion on the table by Secretary Sapita. Is there a second? Second by Treasurer Paulson. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of tabling the Constitution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Abstentions? And the Constitution is tabled until the next meeting. Right. We now move on to item 8, reports. Item A, Finance Commission minutes of September 30th, 2015, and October 14th, 2015. Treasurer Carlson.
These minutes and allocations and reallocations were approved by my Finance Commission, and I ask that they be accepted with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to the treasurer's minutes being accepted with unanimous consent? Hearing none, the minutes are approved. We now move to reports. Item B, roundtable meeting September 23rd, 2015. Secretary Sapita.
Alright, so we had our first roundtable of the year, September 23rd, and it was a pretty good turnout. Almost 50% of the clubs either went to the original meeting or set up appointments with me afterwards to get all the information they needed. There's also a list attached of the clubs that attended and the ones that have yet to contact me about it. And yeah.
All right. Any further discussion on the report? Would you like to have the report accepted with unanimous consent?
Yes, please.
Are there any objections to the report being accepted? Hearing none, the report is accepted with unanimous consent. Moving on to item C, Drew Forstman wrap-up report. President Smith.
Hi guys, I'm going to pass around something, and then one I'm going to take one and pass it down. What we have here is the breakdown of the tickets we sold for Boston. As you can see we sold 431 tickets at $10 at the Waterman Pro Center, which leaves up about $4,210 in revenue. We have yet to calculate all the final costs for Group Boston, yet to come in. Usually these things take about a month after we get the
Hearing none, the report is accepted with unanimous consent. We need now move on to item number 9, updates and remarks, administration update. Dr. Scott Kennedy.
Thank you. A few things. Let's see, I'll start with the wrap up from the Universal Studios filming on campus yesterday. Anybody here get a chance to participate as an extra? Yeah, way to go. Want to go? Want to get the report?
It was good.
Are you going to be
Hopefully they show me.
relatively close to the action?
No, they made us stay in the auditorium and they did a political debate.
And when there was a moment where the heroine comes into the audience and people are reaching to shake her hand and pat her on the back, did you?
Only Boston Casting got to sit that up close.
Well, I appreciate, the students obviously cooperating with the college to make that event happen. We have a decent turnout of student extras. They brought in their own professional actors, obviously as extras as well. Parking seemed to go fine. I talked to campus police at one point. They said that they didn't have one complaint on the day at about 4 o'clock, I guess. The dining hall was able to efficiently serve the extras that came over for lunch, and didn't seem to be much of a inconvenience to the college in that way. So again, thanks everybody for their cooperation and for your participation. There's an admissions open house on Saturday, November 14th. Is that right, or is it Sunday?
I'll be back.
Saturday, November 14th.
1 to 4:30.
1 to 4:30. Thank you, Mr. Balucci. And so this is the time, obviously, where the college it's sort of first official recruiting event for the next incoming class. Physical plant will obviously be working on campus in housekeeping to make facilities look nice. Anything that you can do to help and assist, and I'm sort of thinking about all the kinds of things that students can do to make things look really attractive with their student organization offices or whatever it might be, or the things that they maybe shouldn't do so that there's not extra trash on the hall, or there's not signs up or articles written that might be a real turnoff to students. I would appreciate your support with that. I'll say one other thing about that, but I forget what it is now. But kind of related to that, the college is also going to, OASIS in particular, is going to be beginning the orientation leader selection process for next summer. So the folks who will actually be orientation leaders, your very own Secretary Savedo was an orientation leader last summer, so you can talk to her or me if you want to know more about it. But
I want the job.
But it's a great opportunity. It's a real leadership position on campus. It's a lot of work. It's very for what is it, a month or 5 weeks? You're
6 a.m. to 12 a.m.
really tapped out. But it's very, very rewarding, and so again, if you want to know more about that, please let me know. And then I don't know if everybody sort of pays attention to Rhode Island College athletics, but if you haven't, you've really missed a great fall season. The men's golf team took the New England Regional Championship, so congratulations to them. The women's volleyball team and the women's tennis team won the conference championships. So it was a very, very productive year, and other sports teams did well. Maybe they didn't win the conference championships, but they certainly had very, decent records, winning records. I think that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. King. Now move on to item B, big update. Dr. Michelle Brookman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I really don't have much to say. I just want to plug advising stuff, of course. And I finally got an advising frequently asked questions some of these tips as I'd like, but I think they're informative. And besides that, I'm gonna also say I would really love to have someone on the student representative on the academic advising committee. We don't have anyone, and it is a very important committee. We talk a lot about different things, but we don't have any kind of student input, and I think that's incredibly important. Unfortunately, the only day that we seem to be able to meet is Fridays at 9:30 in the morning, so I know it's not the best day, but yeah, we'd love to have student representation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Now move to item C, staff update, Mr. Mark Bailey.
Motion to pass. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Item D, alumni update, Mr. Robert Cinturi Jr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So just a couple of things real quick, guys. For the new members, hi, I'm Rob. I was what President Smith was last year when I was still here at Rhode Island College, and before that I was what Mr. Speaker Lima was. So I'm just here, I'm the alumni rep. Just trying to kind of find out what I'm really here to help you guys with, but I'm a resource in the meantime. So if you have any questions, so always feel free to bug me. If you don't feel like bugging one of the board members, I'd be happy to answer any questions, any suggestions you might need. Nice to see the addition of the state student body continues. President Smith put his speech a lot more succinctly than I did mine last year, so it was nice to see though some of those things that he touched upon, especially about making the most of the opportunities and citing what some Parliament members this year were doing. And I strongly encourage all of you to find an issue of your own and make it yours, and work with others in trying to find a solution for it here on campus. You know, the room's a lot more full than the last meeting, which is great to see. So hopefully, you know, you guys get more people to join and just find issues you can work together on trying to solve here on campus. While we were away, actually, to take a chance to announce, since we didn't have the meeting, but homecoming happened. Hope you guys went if you were able to make it. Be always sure to look up for events from the Alumni Association. You know, if you know alumni here at Rick, tell them to go if they can make it. Alumni Association puts a lot of work into making these events happen. And speaking of events, my last thing is, I remember Secretary Cepeda earlier talked about the holiday party, and I know I'm excited for it. I hope you guys are going to make it as well. So thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's all.
Well, thank you, Mr. Cinturi. Now move to item 10, appointments, resignations, and vacancies. President Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll start with resignations. Catherine Almeida resigns from elections as she cannot meet at the meeting times. Alexis DeLuca from the subcommittee also resigned. She doesn't have the committee for that time for that committee. Linda Lynn resigns from public relations. Her schedule has changed and she can no longer meet at that time. Logan Roush, did I say your name right, Logan? I always butcher names. Resigns from finance as she's now our chief of staff. Alexandra Tier from Kitchen Services as her schedule has changed and she no longer has the time. And elections. I can't read Joe's typing. And Samuel Cody resigns from Parliament as he cannot make the meetings. Now I have some appointments as well. I'm appointing Megan Fisk and Ken Salhini Jr. to the student parliament seats on the Conditions and Services Committee. I am appointing Andy Ramirez to a non-student parliament seat on the PR committee as he is the communications director. I'm appointing Katie Almeida to the PR committee as well, and as this non-student parliament seat. I'm appointing Linda Lynn to the college's calendar committee. I'm appointing Jose Rosario to the newly formed Human Relations Committee. I'm appointing Derek Trombley to the Library Advisory Committee. I'm appointing Ashley Kuna, how do you say? To the PFAC Committee. And I'm lastly appointing Megan Fisk to the Traffic and Parking Committee. That is all my appointments. Before I ask you to consent on all of them, I just want to say almost all committees and commissions have available seats on them, guys, and you all have to join one SCG committee and one college committee. Perhaps Dr. Brophy Bammons committee, which is a wonderful one. I ask these appointments be accepted with unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to the president's appointments? Hearing none, all the appointments are made with unanimous consent. All right, any would you like to read the vacancies?
No, there's everything's vacant. We have vacancies in almost every committee.
Now move on to item 11, issues of parliament members. If you have an issue, state please raise your card high. Representative Hurd.
Hi, I'm Representative Hurd. I'm new here today. I'd like to maybe start advocating for more knowledge about the traffic light at the crosswalk. Today, I was pulling into the parking lot and I heard someone screech to a halt at it. So I'm hoping that whoever was on the crosswalk at the time is okay. And I've personally almost been run over at the crosswalk by a group of old ladies in the convertible. So hopefully we can make it a safer place, teach people about traffic laws, how to stop stoplights. Yeah, that's all I have.
Well, thank you, Representative Rosario.
Hi guys, I know I've been talking a lot, but in exciting news, the Relay for Life organization or group is starting up again this year. Last year we raised over $8,000, which was well over our goal for Rhode Island College. The school has taken on the ambitious goal of raising $20,000 this year. So I'd like to just kind of throw it out there for an SCG team. The event will be held on April 15th and registration has already started. So you guys can designate a team captain and just pick a team.
Well, thank you, Treasurer Carlson.
I just wanted to give a little update. I'm also a member of the ballroom team here on campus. So competition season for us is in full swing. We've already been to 2 hosted by Yale and UConn universities and or colleges, whatever it may be. And in the upcoming weeks, we have Brown University this weekend, UMass Amherst the weekend after that, and Tufts University the weekend after that, and then we have like 6 more in the spring. So we're doing good. The team has grown by leaps and bounds. To the next comp, we're bringing 27 people when normally we've been bringing about 15. So we're really excited.
All right, thank you, President Smith.
I have a couple things. I get the first one out of the way. I've heard this from a couple people, and I've heard this on the radio as well. I was listening to VRU a couple weeks ago and heard the fact that a college for Rhode Island College on missions, and I just want to say I was disappointed as the ex-IMGM that they were doing that. And more happy news, Deborah XN is also doing a radiothon for Operation Stand Down November 18th through 19th to benefit homeless and at-risk veterans. And I want to give a shout out to Linda Lynn, whose Festival of Lights event had to be canceled today due to rain. It's going to be next week, so I encourage us all after our Parliament meeting next week to go join the mountain walk. And that's all my issues.
All right, thank you, Deputy Speaker Soko.
I'm selling Yankee candle stuff for a fundraiser. If anybody's looking for Christmas presents, it starts the 1st, ends the 16th. You can see any office in Toster. There's 42 of us now. You'll see us everywhere. So I'm so excited. There's a bunch of us. It goes towards convention and different committees that we hold. So I hope some of you guys come buy something.
All right, thank you, Secretary Spade.
So I'm also secretary of the freshman class, and I wanted to let you all know that soon you'll be seeing our advertising. Sophomore. I forget what year it is. So we're gonna host an event. It's called Speed Friending, and I hope you're all there. It's gonna be December 1st. Yes, December 1st. So all of you should come and make lots of friends, and it's gonna be great. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Real quick, just a reminder to those new in Parliament to see me after the meeting so we can arrange a time to set up orientation for those of you that did not do so already at 6 p.m. tonight. And also, on a personal note, I'm DJing tomorrow night at Simon 677 Valley Street for the Grasslands Halloween party. 18 plus, greatest costumes. They have excellent security that we pay good money for. So it's a nice, safe, fun venue. And I'll be DJing with DJ Rodesky over there. So come on out.
He's a good
if you're
DJ.
around. Yeah,
Especially for my
that's all I have. Any more issues among members? Hearing none, there's only one more motion, and that's the motion to adjourn. Motion by Deputy Speaker Rizzuto, second by Representative Locke. All those in favor of adjourning the meeting,